Well, I'm lucky enough to have early access to the full F1 22 game, and I thought I'd tell you guys 6 awesome new features they've added since last year's game. Shout out to EA for making this possible, by the way. So let's jump straight in then with the first point, and that is, of course, F1 Life. I'm sure if you looked into any news on the F1 game, you'd have heard about this one. Essentially, it's a new front to the game. It's now an apartment. You're an F1 driver. You're actually a driver. You can customize the look of your character with also branded clothes, including like headwear and obviously shoes, trousers, t-shirt. And also glasses. And then you sit in an apartment. You sit in an apartment. You can also customize. You can customize the sofa. You can customize the walls. You can customize the floor. You can customize the lights. All this, of course, will be. You can expand on this with in-game currency as well, if you so choose. So, but there's a chunk of customizations you can choose from in the first place. And yeah, it's a new front to the game. So you jump straight to the game, and you're presented with your apartment that you've set up, however you choose to do so. What's really nice about this feature as well is it brings together some of the other features that were previously available in the game, and it just makes it a bit more coherent. For example, the replay viewer. Previously, it was just sort of a viewer. You just click in, it was just another menu. Now it acts as your theatre in your apartment. Another thing it brings together quite nicely is the customization of your character. Again, previously you could customize at least your race wear, not your casual wear, which again was just kind of a menu. Now it makes sense to go into your wardrobe and customize both your casual wear and your race wear. So I actually really like this. It also brings, a decent reward for being an F1 driver. There's also got the trophy cabinet there as well. So as you progress through career mode, you'll have more and more trophies. You'll also be able to unlock more and more supercars from the game by completing little in-game challenges, things like just drive a certain amount of distance or drive an F2 car. And then you'll be able to place those supercars around the apartment. I mentioned the supercars there. That is my second point. The supercars are brand new to the F1 series, and honestly, I really like them. I think they're a really good addition to the game. Now, don't get me wrong, wouldn't want to detract from the F1 side of things to have supercars. It's not a priority. But provided they don't detract from the main F1 game, which they don't, I'll get to that in a moment, I really like that they're there. It provides a decent change of pace, and actually, they handle pretty nicely. They feel nice to drive, they drift really nicely. There's some quite cool Pirelli hot laps challenges that you can do with them as well as, of course, the usual time trial mode for just hot lapping with leaderboards and the like. But I really like them. I think they're really detailed. There's only a handful of cars at the moment from the manufacturers that are in the game, from things like Aston Martin, Mercedes, McLaren. But yeah, I honestly think they're a great addition. And actually, as I mentioned before, I wouldn't want them to detract from the main F1 side of the game, and they haven't, because they've actually improved it. I spoke to David Greco, the handling designer, and he told me that actually, far from detracting from the game or making the handling worse to compromise in order to make the supercars work, it's actually made the handling of the F1 side better because it uses the same physics engine. They put the supercars in and found out, well, perhaps these things aren't quite right in our physics engine, and it's enabled them to learn and improve their physics engine in order to handle both the supercars and the F1 cars. So actually, we've ended up with a better physics model because the supercars are in the game, which I absolutely love. So honestly, it's a good addition. They're fun to drive. Yes, you're not going to buy the F1 game to drive the supercars. You're also not even going to spend the majority of your time driving the supercars. But it's a nice change of pace. They're genuinely fun. I really think they could take this somewhere cool as well. They could add more and more challenges in the future. They could perhaps do a weekly challenge or a daily challenge of lap a certain circuit, or they could do. They can come up with brand new game modes. There isn't a huge amount of game modes available right now in the Pirelli Hot Laps kind of challenge area. They've got average speed zones, drift, and checkpoint gates, to name a couple of them. But you can have it so the community adds the checkpoints themselves, or just do a slalom course along the massive Baku straight, or see who can reach the highest top speed on the Baku straight. You see what I mean? There's decent variety there. I think it adds certainly something, and it also makes you feel a bit more cool, like you're an actual F1 driver because you've got the cars. So honestly, there's been a lot of negativity towards them. There's been a lot of positivity as well, of course, but I think it is certainly a good thing. So yeah, supercars in the F1 game, worth having. The third awesome feature they've added to the F1 22 game is crossplay. Now, it isn't actually in the game yet. I'm not able to test it. They'll be released with a post-game patch. Codemaster Studio done exactly this with previous titles with Dirt as well. So they will release it as crossplay, and that's actually going to be a huge feature. A lot of people play online. I'm actually in the few. I don't play a huge amount of online, but it will work with two-player career. It'll work with, of course, the regular multiplayer. I'm actually not sure about the time trial leaderboards, to be fair. That's one that we could ask them. But yeah, crossplay, going to be a huge feature. I've seen a lot of people in my mentions saying, I love that crossplay's been added. I can't wait to play with my mate, etc., etc. So crossplay, a huge feature into the game, finally in the F1 series, and it'll work across all platforms. I can't wait to give it a go. The fourth awesome feature they've added to the F1 22 game is actually a smaller feature, but I think people really appreciate it, and that is EA Music. Think FIFA music tracks, where you get tracks that songs that playing while you're browsing menus. they've added that to the F1 game, which I actually really like. That is a great use of EA. EA only bought the F1 game 18 months or so ago, I believe. So that's a great addition that EA have been able to bring to the title, and I love it. Unfortunately, I can't really show you much of it. They won't allow me to show you the full track listing of EA music. And also, of course, because of copyright, I can't actually play any music either, which would also reveal some of the tracks. So, unfortunately, I can't show you a lot of it, but it is coming, and it is quite cool. It's cool to have songs you know when you're in the menus. And once we get to full release time, I will be able to reveal, of course, the full track listings. Do drop a sub if you haven't already. We're on the road to 100k. The fifth awesome new feature on F122 is just the handling model. And I'll put it a bit lower down because I think a lot of you really don't buy it for, to be an elite handling model. Also, a lot of you probably don't care about small evolutions year to year, and it is an evolution. It's not a revolution. It does feel like a similar game to last year, but they've improved it. It is a definite step up. Traction is now a lot harder, which makes it a real challenge. It's not easy to get on the power on the exit of the corner. It's an F1 car with 1,000 horsepower. It shouldn't be easy. So I like that a lot. It does still understeer. It feels like it understeers a little bit less than last year's game, but of course, it is a game aimed at everybody, including pad users. So it's not going to be the most on a pinpoint handling model in the world for that reason. But the traction has been much difficult, and I really like it. It's just an evolution, and it feels really good. I really enjoy the game, playing the game. I've enjoyed the handling model for a number of years now, and this one is an improvement. So solid improvement year on year handling model if you're interested in that kind of thing. And the sixth awesome feature they've added to the F122 game then is, of course, VR. That is a huge feature, but the reason I made it number 6 is because it is PC only. Not everybody can play VR, and realistically, a majority of players are still on console, which is why I put it so low down the list. But I tell you what, if you've got the possibility, definitely do give VR a try. It is really good. It's really cool. It's really immersive. It makes you really feel like you're in the car, especially if you have never driven a racing game with VR, which actually I hadn't until I tried F1. I've been to try R racing for a number of years, but never got around to it. It's really surreal to be sat in the garage in an F1 car looking around. It's not as special as in real life, I assume, but it's more special than just looking at a screen. It does feel special to be sat in a Formula 1 car, even virtual VR. It is well worth trying. Honestly, if you've got the opportunity in one way or another, do give it a go. And of course, out on track as well. It's so cool to be able to look around, to look in the mirror and that kind of thing. Give it a go if you can. VR, a huge feature. I've been waiting for it for a number of years in the F1 game. PC only for now. Maybe they'll release it on console in the near future. Of course, PlayStation are bringing out their VR headset very soon. So maybe in next year's title, VR will be coming to consoles. But for now, PC only. But definitely give it a go if you can. And there we go then, guys. That is my 6 awesome features they've added to the F122 game over last year's game. Let me know what you thought of these 6 points down in the comments. It's quite top line because I tried to aim this video at the sort of people that are, perhaps on the fence with buying it. Realistically, the people that love the series and already know everything about it, you've probably already pre-ordered the game. So it's more aimed at a more sort of top level, just telling you the awesome things that I love about the game. I'd recommend the investment. It is good. Like I mentioned, things improved. The handling models improved. This of edition Supercars is awesome. They are worth a try. Certainly if you're on PC and you've got a VR headset, it's a no-brainer. Do not even think about not buying it. Absolutely do buy it if you're in that particular group of people. And of course, crossplay. If you like playing with your mates and perhaps some of your mates aren't on the same platform as you, then just buy it. There's a number of reasons there that they put in to buy this game. Overall, though, I will say this year's game is, I would call it more of an evolution rather than a revolution. The Supercars in F1 Life is a big new feature, but the career mode is largely unchanged. A little bonus feature that I'll put in the video is that you can actually start from various points in My Team career mode now. You can start as a front running team or as a kind of mid or back tier team, which is a nice addition. But other than that, career mode is pretty much unchanged. I had a few department events and that kind of thing, and there's a few new My Team icons, but it's very much tweaks. The menus are pretty much identical. The upgrade paths are pretty much identical. The facility system's pretty much identical. The calendar selection system's pretty much identical. You can get 10, 16, or 22 season calendars. They've added sprint races, of course, but I'm kind of waffling on now in the more minor features, but I would say it's more evolution this year. But those 6 top line features are worth it. Like I said, if you're on PC, well worth it. If you want to play with your mates, well worth it. If not, even if those things don't apply, I definitely think it is still worth the upgrade from last year's game. Anyway, I'm waffling now. I'm going to leave it there. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I'm on the road to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. But other than that, guys, I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.